To start off our bulletin tonight, the 38th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Head of State and Government of the African Union officially opened at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia under the theme Justice for Africans and People of Africa Descent Through Reparations. Now, this theme addresses historical injustices and lasting aftermath on the African continent. Her Excellency the Vice President Jessica Alupo represented President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and joined over 35 heads of state and government heads and a number of senior government officials in their respective countries. The Vice President was accompanied by the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, John Mulimba, Uganda's ambassador to Ethiopia, Rebecca Otengo, Uganda's military attaché to Ethiopia, Colonel Fred Zache, and a number of Ugandan officials from the African Union and Ugandan embassy in Addis Ababa. In his opening remarks, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Abiy Ahmed, called upon African nations to strengthen unity for sustainable development. His Excellency Abiy emphasized that Africa's pursuit of justice for historical damages should not be misinterpreted as a request for aid. He said that in the world marked by dynamic change, Africa is faced by a magnitude of uncertainties, calling for strengthening protective goals, resilience, and fostering unity across the continent. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in a speech read for him by the Under-Secretary General, said that the partnership between the United Nations and the African Union has never been stronger, and collectively they can see Africa brimming with hope and possibility. The leaders of African Union countries on Saturday elected a new chief for the branch that runs the organization's daily operations in Djibouti. Foreign Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, as the next chair of the African Union Commission, was voted in a secret ballot. Yusuf, who celebrated his 60th birthday a week ago, defeated Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and former Foreign Minister of Madagascar Richard Randrimandrato. The selection took 8 rounds of voting, and he replaces Moussa Faki Mahamat of Chad, who served 2 terms as the African Union Commissioner. Furthermore, thousands have celebrated the 48th Janan Luwum Day at his ancestral home in Muchwin Ceremonial Grounds in Kitgum District. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who was represented by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, described Janan Luwum as a great leader, while the clergy led by the Archbishop, His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, encouraged Christians to emulate Janan Luwum. Our reporter Philip Aguta was in Muchwini and now reports.
Every 16th of February, the Anglican Church and the faithful celebrates Janan Luwum Day after it was gazetted by Parliament to be a public holiday. The Anglican Church headquarters from England also recognized Janan Luwum, who was the 3rd Archbishop, as martyr for his great contributions to the development of Anglican Church in Uganda, DRC, Rwanda, and Burundi. Janan Luwum was killed in 1977 for being critical of the then government of Idi Amin Dada. At Muchwini Ceremonial Grounds in Kitgum District, the church service kicked off at exactly 9 a.m. with a procession of bishops and the Mothers' Union. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, was the main celebrant, with the Bishop of Ankole Diocese, the Most Reverend Sheldon Mwesigwa, as the preacher. In his sermon, Kazimba called on government to consider releasing retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besje from Luzira prisons on the grounds of poor health that will show heart of forgiveness, just like Janan Luwum did.
We promote peace, dialogue, and forgiveness, even to those who really need our prayers, like Dr. Besigye, Chiza Besigye, and other politicians, where we need to consider their health conditions and extend forgiveness as we remember Luwum, the peacemaker.
The two men of God also encouraged Christians to remain faithful and emulate the resilience exhibited by Janan Luwum.
Third, Luwum's heart of love and dedication to Acholi land and Uganda was very clear in his sermons in UK.
We should not lose our humanism in wanting to be elected or to win elections. Let us be Ugandans. Let us be united. Let us promote a peace of forgiveness, a heart of forgiveness and reconciliation and dialogue. I appreciate the government of Uganda for gazetting today, 16th February, as a public holiday to commemorate our hero, Archbishop Janan Luwum. Let us appreciate that.
President Museveni, who was meant to be the chief guest, delegated the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja to represent him. In his speech read to the congregation of believers, Museveni described Janan Luwum as a true and great leader.
He will be regarded as a torch-bearer for those that have stood up to truth, liberty, peace, and patriotism. Archbishop Janan Luwum will ever be remembered and celebrated as one of those most influential leaders in his time. Not by just spiritual position or words, but more so by taking action and walking the talk.
The Prime Minister Nabanja delivered 30 million shillings as Museveni's contribution towards the day, and the wreath which was laid on the grave housing the remains of Janan Luwum.
The President gave me 30 million and he told me to bring it here. He's aware that the government already contributed 400 million, but this is from his heart, personal. And allow me to give it to the Bishop of Kitugu. He talked about buying cows. You will ask him what he meant.
The Chief Justice Alfonso Winidolo urged the people of Acholi to forgive the killers of Janan Luwum and others.
My Lord, Your Grace, the Archbishop, you spoke today the language Janan Luwum would want to hear. You speak the language which the then widow of Janan Luwum spoke here before she was called by the Lord. I'm asking our religious leaders, I'm asking our political leaders, let us seize that momentum. Let us seize that momentum. We went with Milton Obote's son, Honorable Akena Jimmy, and a host of other leaders. Uganda needs us to speak to one another.
The political leaders from the area commended the government for funding the Janan Luwum Day, but tasked the government to fence Kidepo National Park and tarmac the Kitgum Karenga Road.
It didn't have time, but I know among them there is an issue of fencing of Kidepo National Park that we discussed, and you are meant to chair a meeting, and that is something that the community is also anxiously waiting for our intervention. Secondly, the issue of the road, the tarmacking of Kitgum Karenga, the Kidepo Road, is among the issues that the LC5 wanted to present.
The 48th Janan Luwum Day was celebrated under the theme Imitating God's Goodness by Doing Good. and was attended by over 10,000 faithfuls, including ministers, members of parliament, and cultural leaders. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kitgum.
A section of doctors led by the former president of Uganda Medical Association, Ekwaro Obuku, want to petition President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni on the health of the detained Dr. Kizza Besigye. The doctors described their petition as humble and signed by over 1,000 doctors, demanding attention from authorities about continued detention of Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye amid recent Supreme Court declarations and ruling. This comes after close relatives of Dr. Kizza Besigye said they received calls from Luzira prison asking for the personal doctor of Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye. Let's have a look.
Family members of Dr. Kizza Besigye demand for his immediate release following concerns that his health situation is deteriorating.
We are forced to speak out now because we believe the worst may be imminent.
A joint statement signed by the Byanyima family asserts that the prison authorities called requesting for Dr. Besigye's personal doctor, implying that the former FDC leader is not well.
This coming after authorities had repeatedly denied him access to his own doctor is worrying. We fear that this sudden change signals a severe decline in his condition.
Dr. Kizza Besigye and friend Obed Lutale are still in prison despite ruling stopping their trial from a military court. These accuse religious leaders, among other prominent organizations, for silence over the demand for release of Dr. Kizza Besigye.
Your moral voice is needed now more than ever. You who shepherd our communities and stand for sanctity of human life, we implore you to speak out.
But during the celebration to remember Archbishop Janan Luwum in Kitgum, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Kazimba Mugalu, called for a consensus regarding the health of Dr. Kizza Besigye.
And the other politicians, where we need to consider their health conditions, we serve a God of a second chance. There should be an opportunity for dialogue and reconciliation.
Meanwhile, a section of doctors led by former president of Uganda Medical Association, Ekwaro Obuku, want to petition President Yoweri Museveni on the health of detained Dr. Kizza Besigye.
A call for action by all medical professionals, interns and students, in line with the Hippocratic oath that we swear, or the Nightingale oath by nurses and other related ones, that we cannot and should not continue to keep quiet.
Prison authorities have remained silent about the health of Dr. Kizza Besigye. Close associates say that the former presidential candidate is on a hunger strike.
Now the specialists here and other doctors have detected, and this one the court-martial does not know it, neither the president, but we are taught for at least 13 years to become a specialist, that is like me, okay? And we can tell, not using witchcraft, but with the technicality that Dr. Kizza Besigye is not okay.
Government recently agreed to respect and implement the Supreme Court ruling and declarations. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Now, the latest update is that the Minister for ICT and National Guidance has just recently visited Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye at his prison cell, and will be in studio within the next few minutes to share with us some insights. So don't go so far. Stay on the watch.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Abantu be Buloba mwena olunaku olwaleero tuli wamwe wano ku St. Paul Kindergarten nga tukuze kukola ki tuze kuwa muzadde waffe eyawangudde school fees za mwaka mulamba. Kyeyakoze jogajoga yasasuza school fees we n'akozesa school pay bw'atyo n'awangula.
Nasooka kwogera amannya ga mwana mulala ngenda okuwulira ng'asiriikiridde nenooza tebakirizeemu si kituufu ne mugamba nyinawo abaana babiri kyava mbuza omulala y'ani ne mubuulira amannya ge n'aŋŋamba oyo oli muwanguzi waffe ne MTN Momo wawangudde school fees gwe muwanguzi wa wiiki eno.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor. Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What did we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Now, as earlier mentioned, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance has just recently visited the Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye in Luzira and is here to share with us a few updates. You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And good evening, viewers.
So we have been told that you recently visited, or just a few hours ago at about 4 p.m., had a visit with Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye. And we would like to know What was the purpose of the visit in the first place?
Well, I paid a visit to Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye to check on him as somebody who is in prison. And also there has been this fear that he could be severely sick and maybe could die in prison. And so I took a decision to visit him and also to look at him. You know, I have also a medical background.
Yes, I'm very
by
well
profession.
aware.
And yes, the prison authorities allowed me to access him, and I found his personal doctors were also there, and I had a chat with him. He would ask me how his condition is.
Yes.
He's weak, but stable, and from a medical standpoint, not very worrying that you'd be worried that anything can happen and so forth. And when I reached, I found the personal doctors, who include his sister, who is very well known to me because we work together in Marago Hospital. They wanted to carry out a number of medical tests, and the prison authorities agreed that they could even take him out to a hospital of their choice to do the tests, and which they did, and then thereafter he'll be taken back to Luzira. So he's under the care of the doctors, including the government doctors who are also there in Luzira. So yes, he's weak because he has not been taking his meals for the last few days, and that's why when he appeared in court, maybe he looked frail and a little bit weak, and that's what scared the public. But I did talk to him and counseled him that he should take his meals as his case progresses, and I hope he would take that advice.
Yeah.
And start taking the meals as government, like I treated, fast tracks the issue of his case, because there has been a misunderstanding to say that the Supreme Court ordered for his release. No. What the Supreme Court ruled, or in the judgment, was that all cases of civilians going on in the court martial should immediately cease and be transferred to the civilian court. That was the ruling.
Okay.
But the court didn't say release all the prisoners. No, because their cases have not been heard and concluded. So similarly, court did not say release Dr. Kiza Besigye. That narrative is false, it is untrue, it is misleading. What the court says, what court said was, let the court martial stop the proceedings and then transfer the case to a civilian court for the case to continue. And this is what has been going on.
Okay.
When I spoke to the court authorities, I think the delay has been occasioned by Dr. Kiza Besigye's lawyers, because when a judgment has been issued, then the lawyers go back to extract a decree, a court order, which I'm now told was done on Thursday. And since then, a lot of paperwork is being done, and
it being a weekend.
But sooner or later, this will go to the DPP. When all the papers have been concluded, they will be taken to the DPP for the DPP to make a decision
Dr.
whether to take the case forward or not. Okay. So the process is on, and there should be no cause for worry. At least what comforted me is that Dr. Besigye is able to access his doctors, and they are handling his medical situation.
Speaking on his health, what is government's position on his health?
Well, what I am saying is the government position, that the weakness, that frail condition that people are describing was occasioned by his hunger strike, if I can call it, refusal to take meals. Not that he has contracted illnesses or severe sickness, but just because he's not taking his meals. So once he resumes taking his meals, there should be no big problem at all.
Okay.
And like I've said, what comforted me was that he's accessing his medical doctors and they are able to manage whatever situation arises.
Okay.
But in my view, it's not very worrying that, there are patients whom you leave in hospital and say, by the time I go back, I'm not sure whether I will find them. But he's not in that condition that he's worrying. Yes, he's weak, but not very worrying, talking as a medical professional.
In your conversation with Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, what were his remarks between you and him?
Well, it was just a casual talk, because I was not his lawyer that we go deep into his case.
Yeah.
I had not also gone as a physician to dig deep into his medical condition. It was just a casual conversation. It was like a courtesy call.
Okay.
Yes.
And when do you foresee that the legal process might take its course?
Well, from the conversation I have had with the people handling his case, the Attorney General's chamber and the lawyers, I think in the coming week they should be able to conclude the process so that the file can be transferred to the judiciary, that's the DPP and the judiciary, for them now to handle.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, of course, the country is in a state of, I wouldn't want to call it confusion, but they're a little sensitive on his health situation. So would you say something to the country to tell them about, to give them the confidence about his status?
Yes, like I have said, he is stable. He is not in a critical condition to worry anybody. And his medical doctors are handling him, they are accessing him. And actually this afternoon, they were with him. They took him out of the prison to take him to a private clinic here in Kampala, which is managed by one of the doctors, the private doctors, who is handling the Dr. Besigye, to do medical checkup, basically laboratory tests. Well, they could still be done in Maxon Pay Hospital, but the conversation they had with the authorities, I think they agreed that let him go to the hospital of his choice.
Okay.
And indeed, he was taken for medical checkup to do the medical tests, and then he will be taken. I think he has been taken back to Luzira. So that's why I'm saying the situation is not worrying as such, and he's being attended to. So let's not be anxious. Let the process take its course, and I am sure when he's taken to court, he should be able to apply for bail, and then yes, it is the discretion of the judges to grant or not to grant bail. But like I have commented earlier on publicly, personally I don't think there should be a reason why he should be denied bail. He can be given bail and he goes home and he appears in the court while coming from home.
Okay.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye is being handled with all due respect, and he is in safe hands. So taking the conversation now to the president's tours, he's just recently summarized a Kigezi tour where he was on a wealth creation tour as part of the bigger wealth creation tours that he was having. And in terms of the manifesto pledges, as far as the NRM is concerned, we're having an election year next year. How far has the NRM gone in as fulfilling the pledges of the
Yes,
manifesto?
His Excellency the President began touring the country in 2023, but most of the tours he did them in the later part of last year, and he continues touring the country. And the way he has arranged his tours is that he visits the zones, the regions, the old independence districts.
Yeah.
Like Kigezi, Ankole, Buganda. No, Buganda is split into many other regions, but like Tora, Acholi, those. So he has completed the visit the northern part of Uganda, which is Acholi, West Nile, Lango. He has also now completed eastern Uganda from Karamoja to Bugedi, And beginning this year, he concluded with the Busoga, concluding the east with Busoga, and then Lango for the north. And just this week, he went to Chigezi to start the Western Uganda leg. And he spent 3 days in Chigezi. And basically, he's mobilizing Ugandans to get involved in wealth creation programs, particularly the parish development model, the Myoga programs, but also assessing whether these programs are reaching the ground, whether Ugandans are benefiting from these programs, and those who have received these funds, how are they utilizing them. I have seen Ugandans who are cynical, saying, how can a president visit somebody who just bought 2 or 4 goats, or somebody who has just set up a small poultry farm? Yes, the president is saying this PDM is meant to address subsistence livelihood. Those who are in subsistence, those who just cultivate and grow food, consume it, they don't have anything to sell, they don't get money. The lowest people in society. And that's why he's visiting selected households to see how they are coping, how they are using PDM funds to get out of poverty. So for us, we are happy that the president does not just sit in the State House, but he goes to the lowest part of the country and be able to interact with the citizens at that level. So, and our assessment is that PDM is being well received, and we shall continue putting money in this program, and also sensitizing communities on mindset so that everybody can get involved in the money economy. Regarding the pledges, yes, there are a number of government assurances and the pledges, maybe some of them committed by the president and other senior leaders. When the president goes in an area and makes a pledge, there are pledges of 2 types. There are those where he says, we shall tarmac this road, or we shall build a secondary school, or we shall rehabilitate this hospital. Those pledges are then integrated in the budgeting process of government. The respective ministries are expected to budget and plan for those pledges. For instance, if it's a tarmac road, then the Ministry of Work should include in their budget and their plan tarmacking that road. So that burden you don't necessarily put on the president, but the government takes it up. But there are those rather smaller pledges where maybe the president says, oh, I will take up this orphan, maybe off a scholarship. I will do this, I will provide this group with the 30 million shillings. Those are usually accommodated in the State House budget, and then the State House directly addresses those. So as we move, the leaders usually present memoranda at the leaders' meetings, and those memoranda articulate issues concerning the region, including the pledges. So they give accountability of which pledges have already been honored and addressed, and also those which are still outstanding, and the president has assistance, but also the government machinery is there to capture all those outstanding pledges. So when we get back, then we make sure that they are met. So as we go into elections, most of these pledges, especially the lighter ones, where say the president has pledged to support this group with 50 million, with 10 million, or a scholarship offer, those are being cleared. Then there are those which need planning and budgeting. For instance, he pledged to support construction of a road from Kanungu via Rukunjiri and Rubabo to Nyakshenyi, Kisizi, to Rubale and Tongamo.
Okay.
So that one, now the Ministry of Works and Transport is putting it in the budget looking for funds. It may not necessarily be done now before elections, but it's already captured in the National Development Plan 4, it's captured in the government documents, and the Ministry of Works continues to look for funds to have that road tarmac. That's why I said the pledges have different types. There are those which are absorbed into the plans and budgets of the government, and systematically we plan for them, and eventually they are implemented.
Okay, Dr. Chris, is the president campaigning?
No, he is not. He's a sitting president. who is now doing oversight
and
doing monitoring and assessment of the performance of government programs with a focus on wealth creation programs. Because if you are a president, you can choose just to remain in office, or you can choose to go in the field and assess. Similarly, even us as members of parliament, you can choose to just remain in Kampala and be in parliament. On weekends, you remain at home, or you can choose to balance between being in parliament but also getting on the ground to assess and monitor how government programs and other programs are being implemented. Yes, one may interpret it as campaigning, but when you are a sitting leader, you are required to get on the ground and assess how the programs perform. Because eventually, after 5 years, you will have to give accountability, and you cannot account for things that you don't know. So, in brief, the president is not campaigning. The president is just doing his work. He's doing his duty of assessing, monitoring, and providing oversight over government programs.
All right. Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, giving us a few updates. First, on the status of Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye's health, and also about the President's tour or economic wealth creation tours around the country, and most recently that he summarized in Kigezi. Now, I've also been asked to task you with a question on, to be specific on the pledges. You talked about the road, you talked about the several other aspects, but would you dig a little bit more into the pledges that he has made?
When? During the tour or before?
During the tour. Oh, no, the general NRM pledges.
Well, I don't have a list of the pledges, but we all pledge. The president pledges, even us as ministers and members of parliament, especially our constituencies, we pledge. Like I said, there are those pledges which you make. Maybe you are a guest of honor at a church function, and you pledge to give them 10 million. Maybe by the time you come for the function, you don't have the cash, but you pledge. Those are easy and are usually handled quickly in terms of fulfilling those pledges.
All right.
But there are also those manifesto pledges, because we are under a multi-party dispensation where political parties write manifestos. Here you can as well say whatever was put in the NRM manifesto is a pledge to Ugandans. And in the 5 years of the Chisanja, we are actually fulfilling or addressing those pledges. Especially to do with service delivery, because you find in the manifesto, the NRM says, we shall extend power to all sub-counties. That's a pledge to Ugandans, because the manifesto is a social contract that you enter into between the party and the population. So if you look at the perspective of what is pledged through the manifesto, yes, we are fulfilling and answering those pledges over time. And I'm sure by the time we go into the elections, we shall have fulfilled most of these pledges. We may not attain 100%, because, like you know, went into elections when it was COVID time, and the first 2 years we're still recovering from COVID. There are issues here, but definitely we shall score above 80% by the time we go into elections, in as far as the pledges which we made are concerned.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, thank you very much for honoring our invite. And we do look forward to getting more updates from you as you usually do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We shall now take a short commercial break and return with more news tonight.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Abantu be Buloba mwena olwako olwaleero tuli wamwe wano ku St Paul Kindergarten nga tukuze kukola ki tuze kuwa muzadde waffe eyawangudde school fees za mwaka mulamba. Kyeyakoze jogajoga yasasuza school fees we n'akozesa school pay bw'atyo n'awangula.
Nasooka kwogera amannya ga mwana mulala ngenda okuwulira ng'asiriikiridde. Nenooza twakinzizeemu si kituufu ne mugamba nyinawo abaana babiri kyava mbuza omulala y'ani ne mubuulira amannya ge n'aŋŋamba oyo oli muwanguzi waffe ne MTN Momo wawangudde school fees gwe muwanguzi wa wiiki eno.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
The board, management, staff and students of Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, GINJA, congratulate His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the NRM government and the people of Uganda upon commemoration of the 38th Liberation Day anniversary. UHTTI also congratulate the President for successfully chairing the recent international summits of NAM and G77 plus China. Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, which is a government-owned tertiary institution established under the Act of Parliament. The institute continues to implement its mandate to undertake training and conduct research in tourism and hospitality to address skills and knowledge in the industry. Long live the President, long live Ugandans, and long live Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. And now in more news stories, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has rallied politicians of northern Uganda to spread the wealth creation program as spearheaded by the President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Anita Among was joined by key opposition party members of Parliament at a fundraising event in Amuru district aimed at supporting local circle groups. At the event, MP Anthony Akol, who belongs to the FDC party, accepted to join the NRM party on condition that service delivery enhancement is prioritized. Let's have a look.
This is FDC's Anthony Akol, the MP for Clark North constituency, who has accepted the offer by Speaker Anita Among to join NRM subject to certain conditions.
Among all those issues, number one is a power to become a district. And the land should be degazetted for human settlement. Among the issues were the issues about compensation of the livestock of the people of Acholi.
After today's meeting, we are going to go and meet the President.
Speaker Anita Among welcomed the conditions set by MP Akol, addressing the merits of working under the ruling government to improve service delivery.
For us,
one,
if you don't want something, you don't even go near it. But because he has come near me, then it's ours.
MPs, including Tororo County North MP Ekanya Geoffrey, Badege Laib Division MP Ojara Mapenduzi, Herbert Ariko MP for Soroti City East, and Amuru District Woman MP Lucy Akelo joined Speaker Anita Among in a fundraising event in Amuru District organized by MP Anthony Akol, preaching the goodness of wealth creation as spearheaded by President Yoweri Museveni.
Honorable Kanya here is a very good person. You know, we have a good one, a good opposition, and a bad opposition. Honorable Kanya is a good opposition.
NRM now is being managed by FDC. There's only one person, Mr. Museveni, the Right Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Beatrice Anyuari.
Anita Among reminded the gathering about the government programs specifically geared at developing northern Uganda. The Speaker urged politicians to embrace the programs for a common good.
We have a saying that when they are slaughtering a cow, you should not move away. You should also be near there so that you can get some offers.
Other MPs and ministers amplified their voice on supporting the government programs.
Come here,
idea is to begin searching for such an intelligent man like a Cole. I know is a very intelligent man who would even be a Minister of Finance of the Republic of Uganda. My message for the people of Amoru, time is now. You must get to the dining table for purposes of us to develop you, the people of Amoru.
But the truth is that Akol and the rest of the people who are not in the NRM party have been like orphans. For us to eat on a main tray, when we get satisfied, we give them the leftovers.
But because I work very closely with the Right Honorable Speaker, and indeed I had already seen how much her being in the ruling party had helped the people of Teso get to where they are, it was very simple for me to think through my political association. And on behalf and for the sake of the people of Soroti and Teso, I decided to join her.
Speaker Anita Among contributed over 50 million shillings towards the support of the SACCO initiatives.
You can only do that once you have a person who speaks the same language like you.
Anita Among later held private talks with the leader of the Operation Wealth Creation, General Salim Saleh. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Now, furthermore, as the Somali community in Uganda embarks on a new leadership journey with Chairperson-elect Hussein Abubakar Hassan, expectations are high for strengthened cooperation, business growth and enhanced social welfare programs. Officiating at the inauguration ceremony in Kampala, the Minister for Kampala, Minsa Kabanda, has encouraged the Somali community in Uganda to support President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in fostering peace and stability. Chairperson Hussein Abubakar Hassan emphasized that this new leadership presents an opportunity for deeper cooperation and mutual understanding between the Somali community and Ugandans at large.
The Somali community in Uganda has marked a new chapter of leadership aimed at fostering unity, development and cooperation among the Somali diaspora in Uganda. The event was attended by the Minister for Kampala, Minsa Kabanda, who commended the Somali community for their strong sense of unity and commitment to progress.
But now we have only one chairperson. Congratulations. So, on behalf of the government, we are going to work together. We are going to support you in each and everything. And on behalf of my ministry as a resident of Chisenyi Town, you should always use me. Let's work together. Let's work as a team.
She was confident that the new leadership will enhance cohesion between the Somali community and the residents of Chisenyi, a well-known hub for Somali businesses and cultural integration in Uganda.
But when I come back, also support the President, His Excellency the President. Because we are also here because he loves us. So Uganda is a peaceful country where you can do whatever you want, so long as you abide by the laws.
The elected chairperson Hussein Abubakar Hassan appreciated the Somali community for their responsibility of leadership entrusted in him.
We are really appreciate the host community and Uganda government, and it's the best county in the all over the world. Last 5 years, they become aware, even they got aware. Those people who deal with the refugees, the best country in Uganda. We appreciate.
The ceremony attracted several high-profile dignitaries, including the Somali ambassador to Uganda, Fodonso Muhammad Kwanyire. He underscored the significance of the occasion and the strong diplomatic ties between Somalia and Uganda. The event served as a testament to the community's resilience, dedication, and shared vision for a prosperous future. Benon Mokwaya, Robert Waita, UBC News.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has re-echoed his call for zonal skilling hubs to introduce more practical courses. President Museveni is emphatic on motor vehicle mechanics, among other courses, to improve skills among youth on self-employment. The president was commissioning the Kigezi Zonal Industrial Skilling Hub, where Ndora West Member of Parliament David Bahati saw this as an avenue for tapping into youth potential.
This was one of the items lined up on the last day of President Yoweri Museveni's Wealth Creation Tour of Kigezi sub-region in western Uganda. No sooner had he commissioned the Kigezi Zonal Presidential Industrial Skilling Hub than he was taken through the various activities. Students testified about the progressive program.
Konka kuna ezebyo kuteka mugati ni supplying a cakes Mr. President nindaro mukarumu niwende kutesera konka mine planning gunabo na capital nimbasa ku expandinga mukoro big way na cake house kujanyande habeje batayi banje nawe bije ndegese nawe bakatunguka kuja bakaje kiba ukoro mbiro bwomisha.
The head of state was confident about the skilling program and reiterated calls to have more courses brought on board to address the plight of youth.
Ati ekyokongeraho emyoga ninkikiriza ine bongereho emyoga eshatu bongereho ogw'amashanyarazi bongereho ogw'okukora eby'amaizi bongereho na ebagota motor mechanics.
To the area leaders and the architects of this program, it is all work in progress as youth embrace practical learning.
It has been easy for us because of the teamwork. We weren't working together. We're working with local government. We're working with UPDF for mindset change. We have a strong team of State House.
It's one of the ways that we can tap into their potential and make them more productive, give them the necessary skills, and so that they can create employment for themselves. So we are very grateful for this industrial hub. We thank His Excellency the President for the effort.
Those ones who drop out because of lack of school fees can be able to study. For example, in the hubs, we don't pay any school fees. Food is for free, accommodation is for free, and everything else is covered by the President.
From carpentry, building and construction, metal fabrication and dairy farming, the quest for youth skilling, for self-reliance and wealth creation continues in Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Diocesan Inspector of Schools in North Ankole Diocese, composed of Kazo and Chiruhura District, Reverend Stuart Amanya, has said the Diocese of North Ankole scored 26% first grades in last year's PLE examinations. He said it is a great improvement in the education sector due to the new curriculum. Reverend Amanya was addressing a youth conference of Kazo Chiruhura Mbarara University Students Association, powered by Ruth Rujoki Mushabe at Mbarara University of Science and Technology.
University students under Kazo Chiruhura Mbarara University Students Association had a conference on the theme, How Then You Turn Against Me. The guest of honor, also hopeful woman member of parliament for Chiruhura district, Ruth Rujoki Mushabe, commended the students to put God first in everything they do.
I commend you very, very much for making the time to add something on yourselves spiritually, and also from learning from the leaders that were here what the future can be. If you put God first, if you're trustworthy, and you should do something that will be memorable, that will be remembered in a good way.
But during the conference, the students shared fears about the unemployment levels in Uganda. But Rujoki appealed to them to first put focus on education.
Let us try to get the best out of what God gave us. So the challenge I saw most was fear of unemployment, and of course the challenges the students have. There's always lack, fees is not paid on time. But with the word of God and the hope that the preacher gave us today, I believe it is just going to be all right.
The North Ankole Diocesan Inspector of Schools, Reverend Stuart Amanya, implored the youth to utilize all available opportunities.
I implore them to gain courage. I implore them to know that transformation of communities begins with them, and they are the right person to make use of every opportunity.
Amanya thanked government for the new curriculum, whose benefits are clear at primary and secondary levels, despite the challenges involved in understanding it.
The first grade percentage was at 10%. But in Northern Kore Diocese only, Chiruhura and Kazu, the percentage first grade pass was 20 point something percent. That shows exactly a great improvement, and it's the efforts majorly of the church. The church has stepped in the schools to touch the area of morality.
However, the man of God is not happy with the increasing rate of students dropout.
Has go to school while they are hungry and an empty stomach, and an empty stomach cannot stand. I call upon parents to support their children by giving them food, by paying a little at school so that they can prepare warm food.
Students at the conference appreciated Ruth Rujoki Mushabe for sponsoring the conference.
We had issues as youths which we wanted to resolve, and we are very glad today because she has come
for today's program, and it was very good, it was very fantastic.
Aviona Francisco, UBC News.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Welcome back, and now in the world of sports, Uganda Woodball Federation has held its extraordinary congress at its offices in Mengo Bakuli. Focus was on how to adapt the new sports law and plans about how to address funding gaps. More details in this report.
A little over 10 years ago, the sport of woodball descended upon Uganda. It has taken the space by storm with a decent global performances, along which have come some of the best sports personalities. This would never be able minus transparent leadership provided by its president Paul Makayongo, who has declared interest to seek re-election later this year.
I still have a mission to accomplish in my leadership as a head of woodball sport and also a pioneer president. And one of the considerations is to see that we can accomplish our targeted woodball manufacturing, woodball development project.
This was during the Uganda Woodball Federation Extraordinary Congress, during which the major issues discussed were the new law and funding gaps.
The reason why our budget last year was not fully achieved with that budget constraint was mainly due to the government funding, which did not flow as other years. But what we commit is that moving forward, football now being a popular sport, becoming a popular sport, we'll be able to attract more funding through our partners.
Over the years, the Uganda Woodball Federation has prided itself in respecting of all its calendar events and also representing at 8 World Cup competitions.
And that brings us to the end of our 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark, and my sign language interpreter. Have yourselves a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Stake 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Stake 10. Sports Stake 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participate